Be like, yeah, that's a fucking no.
That's a that's back in the day. That's a heavy ass fucking camera. It's a body strength.
2 drops and she's dead.
Okay, we have a 10-second delay. Unit 207, after trying for over 30 minutes to terminate the preceding live stream, was finally able to. I couldn't see, but I speculate that they manually moved the cursor to clicked in stream because it didn't terminate in a manner where it showed me the screen just showing the termination. So a new live stream was initiated in less than 2 minutes. A male upstairs ran over to confirm that the girl upstairs was able to perpetrate that crime. It's my understanding that this is something that's only accessible for them when I'm using the HP laptop. There are lots of details in the preceding live stream, which I'm going to make public here in a moment. But let's go over some things first here. The time is 4:33 p.m. PST, February 27th, 2025. Thursday. This is a consensual recording of Mystic Gwen pursuant to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I'm not an employee of the FBI, but I've been authorized to state I am an informant since the last week of June 2024. If this live stream ends for any reason without me orally and explicitly telling you the end time, be advised I didn't end it, and the domestic terrorist did upstairs. Also, apparently, they believe that it will take them 1 minute and 37 seconds, apparently, to break into my house for the next break-in. Something that became apparent in the preceding live stream if you watch it and listen to the hacks that they put on my cell phone and whatnot. Yeah, that's where we are. Those hacks, by the way, were made possible by the FBI when the FBI said they were going to bait them with my phone in January, as they were all told in pretty much, I think, every January live stream. But check for yourself. That's public. Other than that, let's go over some things really quickly. Things that are not addressed as updates in the most recent public live stream. And to do that, I'm going to use the HP laptop and I'm going to go to the YouTube channel that you are watching this live stream on. And I'm going to click on one of the preceding live streams. Let's click on the preceding one and just listen to the first 10 minutes of this. It has everything you need to hear. Let's fast forward a bit through what I just told you.
They tell a precinct. Alternatively, if I'm asleep and they're able to terminate the live stream, there will probably be a few hours of a delay between when a new live stream is broadcast. Now, that being said, we are going to go over some things going on right now. Ongoing terroristic harassment of an FBI informant.
And you're looking at my ceiling.
Good morning, afternoon.
I'm going to share the screen with you so I can make sure the preceding live stream is public. So we're sharing screen. You'll still see my living ceiling on the bottom right. See?
DCYF, the multiple members of the Snohomish County Prosecutor's Office, et al. Along with any of their other associates. This is not a new issue. It's a continuation of a pattern of harassment, intimidation, and outright terrorism that has been ongoing for many months, and in some cases years. I am a designated to state FBI informant, and all that I state can be verified by the Federal Bureau of Investigation as long as you are not a member of this terroristic organization and or a close or known associate of someone who is. As of this morning, February 26, between 7:10 a.m. and 8:32 a.m., individuals from Unit 207 once again attempted to engage in further acts of tampering, obstruction, intimidation, retaliation, stalking, and various cyber crimes. Their actions are premeditated and designed to further their ongoing campaign of harassment and terror. Specifically, one of the individuals that was on site today is a woman I refer to as Miss 80 plus years. She's been here repeatedly over the last 6 days, including being outside of my door at like 1 a.m. for like over 12 hours actively stalking me. Others have been actively stalking
on multiple
me,
days in the last week. On multiple
presence,
days.
It's not like as
crazy.
Especially the time
that is psychotic.
Here. Very creepy.
And I am a former mental health
and
professional.
But also, I think, a sign of desperation on her end.
Okay, I just now made the preceding live stream public.
They're actively conspiring instructing, coordinating, and
Oh,
planning
I'm
further
editing the
crimes,
title
and
on
many
that
of
at
them
4:37
are being
p.m.
demanded
Squad.
and directed to do so by the extra creepy woman that's been hanging out outside of my door for over 12 hours on average day for many of the last few days while telling everybody to perpetrate felonies at her behest. The specifics of the actions involving the cybercrimes and other crimes with timestamps are available in the description sections of my previous live streams that are set to public at present, from 2:23's evening recording to as recent as the second to last preceding live stream that is set to public. There appears to be some missing chunks of time where there's no live streams since the 20th. There are live streams. They will be set to public on Friday. They're set to private, and they're mostly really of interest to individuals who are hackers or engineers or in the IT section. There's a lot of screen sharing of those live streams. And the FBI wants me to set them to public on Friday. That may change. I'm not really sure for the reason for the delay. And what else are we at? I urge you to review those descriptions for context. Currently, they're planning further crimes, including breaking and entering and continued exterior stalking. Their target date for these actions has been shifted multiple times, but it's been actively attempted multiple times as well. So it's like, do we really say that they're shifting their plans, or do we say, well, they tried 4 times, knowing it was fully illegal in the last 5 days? And now they plan on trying those same crimes again this week and next. I don't know. But that's where it's at right now. At present, they're planning on postponing those plans, but not for lack of effort, because they've attempted those crimes already. They've already actually made actionable some of those crimes. Their target date for these actions has been shifted to this weekend or early next week, following their established pattern of criminal conduct. This pattern has been consistent for the past 18 months, and in some cases for 24 months, depending on which person we're discussing, reaching all the way back to March 2023. My door remains closed as per direct instructions from the FBI. I will not be engaging with this domestic terrorist organization or any of their co-conspirators and members. This organization, formerly an aggravated criminal conspiracy since March 2023, willfully and intentionally became a domestic terrorist organization on August 6, 2024. Even if they attempt to terminate this live stream, I can and will start a new one running in private within minutes unless I am asleep. The live stream does not need to be public for me to comply with FBI instructions. The FBI is aware of my actions and is monitoring the situation. The FBI has also requested that these individuals smile and wave for their recordings, as well as for the North Everett Precinct's own surveillance devices, which have been recording outside of my door for 2 years. It's important to note that any attempt by Unit 207 to terminate my live streams, particularly when I access websites or streaming services, constitutes further felonies. These actions are intended to obstruct justice and retaliate against me, an FBI informant. Recent incidents include attempts to manipulate my devices, including reinstating service workers and manipulating settings to prevent me from controlling my own equipment, efforts to terminate my live streams and prevent future broadcasts, continued stalking and harassment, including by Mrs. 80 plus years, multiple attempts at illegal entry, with the most recent attempts occurring within the past few days, cyber attacks and manipulation of my internet connection to disturb my activities, attempts to plant evidence and destroy evidence on my devices, the rejection of valid police reports by the North Everett Precinct, followed immediately by them perpetrating the same crimes I was reporting from the night before, conspiracy to have me unlawfully detained, committed, or kidnapped. These actions are part of a larger pattern of criminal conduct, including fraud, witness intimidation, and violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act, as well as child abuse, child endangerment, kidnapping, civil rights violations under color of law, yada, yada, yada. The FBI is actively investigating these individuals and their activities. They are aware of the ongoing harassment, stalking, obstruction, tampering, and the attempts to obstruct their investigation. The individuals involved are aware that they are under federal investigation and that their actions are being monitored. They have attempted to defraud the state of Washington, the Attorney General, and the United States government. They continue to tamper, obstruct, impede, and retaliate against the FBI and myself, an authorized state FBI informant. Their primary objectives appear to be to silence me, to facilitate illegal entry, and to unlawfully detain or commit me. They are also attempting, again, to plant and destroy evidence on my devices. My door will remain closed and I will not engage with these individuals. Their attempts to communicate through the door constitute witness tampering and other felonies. They will not be shielded by any perceived authority, regardless of their position, regardless of them feeling that they are being directed to follow unlawful directives. Their decision to do so makes them personally and criminally liable, as well as any perceived authority associated with fraudulent documents acquired due to the aggravated criminal conspiracy turned domestic terrorist organization. I urge anyone watching this to understand the severity of the situation. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a coordinated campaign. The FBI is aware. Thank you for your attention. Please stay tuned for further updates. Also worth noting, remember, over half of the individuals that frequent Unit 207 are actually whistleblowers and very much complying with federal law. And yet they're 100% at risk of retaliation. According to the FBI, worse than anything I've experienced. And I've experienced everything short of what they have left remaining, that they're threatening, being murdered, being a victim of arson, or having someone come and throw acid in my face. So to me, that means that the people that have actually done the right thing are at risk to possibly be killed. And the FBI did say that there is a common trend around precincts where when they find out that somebody or others are cooperating with the FBI, they routinely throw them in the loony bin for a few days. 3 to 5 days is what the FBI says what they usually do. So do keep that in mind, because none of us are going to know who those individuals are until there is a blitz sweep, which the FBI had previously said was subject to change, but was planned for March, subject to change based on officers' conduct. Then the FBI made an update on that, saying that this past Monday, 3 days ago, that their operation, they wanted to make everyone that they were excited to put in prison blow their tops. I have gotten no confirmation whether or not that occurred, but if it did, and everyone can refrain from breaking and entering, any of their co-conspirators as well, then per the FBI, no officer from the North Everett precinct will be detained sooner than April, which would be a month later than they've stated for months. Other than that, remember, if the live stream ends for any reason without me orally and explicitly telling you the end time, I didn't end it. I should be much less talkative in this video as well.
Okay, that's the end of that recording. I'll probably just be as talkative as I fucking feel like being in this one. I am watching videos, and if you haven't been following along, when I'm watching videos or podcasts, Unit 207 has the ability to terminate this live stream. And then I have to start a new one. I'm going back to the podcast.
That's like a news camera.
Like April O'Neil. Damn, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That is a big cam.
Oh, the biggest. Yeah, if they were doing it back then, they were real freaks.
Yeah.
You had to set up a tripod and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy. Being that freaky back then took a lot of gear.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't just like have a cell. You know, now you can just have like a cell phone.
Sure.
Maybe be live streaming out to people or whatever. But like, yeah, that sucks. Porn moms. That's a.
Oh, wait. I'm going to check on this HP laptop if that video that I just made public on this same channel is actually visible, because I hadn't made it public yet when I clicked on here. Okay. Yeah, I see 9:26 a.m. Unit 207 NEP. Hack cell phone to run drills for break-in and terminations. Plans for Saturday. I'm going to click on that. It says it recorded for 6 hours, 31 minutes, and 51 seconds. I thought on my end it recorded for 7 hours. When did I start this one? 14 minutes and 27 seconds ago. I'm so bad at math. 9 to 5:26 would be 8. 7. It should be 7 hours. So let's see where it ends. It says it's 6 hours and 31 minutes. If it ends where I'm orally talking and saying they've been trying to terminate this for 30 minutes, then it ended at the Same spot that I thought.
He has one pair.
Oh,
and
no.
he do laundry outside.
It
So
ended
I
when it
have
first
the
showed
same
that,
energy.
apparently,
Yeah.
because I don't see the warning on the top left that was sitting up
Yes.
there for over 30
But I
minutes
think
before
we're
it actually
there. I'm
terminated.
not allowed to take hotel room keys because I lose all of it.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't.
I don't hold anything. I don't remember things. I don't remember my schedule.
I don't know where I'm going. I don't
Me
know what I'm
either.
doing. I don't know what month it is. I know it's February.
I'm
but
not
all
the
I
only
do
one,
is swipe
okay?
the screen.
I'm not the only queen diva that exists. We see we are the same species. It's
Yeah,
just
there's a tone thing. We're gonna have to work. What is your background before you get us?
camera.
I'm fast forwarding through this to see if it shows at the end that they're terminating it on the top left or if they erased part
That's not
30 minutes of it.
no kids ended up alive.
Well, if you guys,
They're $2 million best. We should. As actually, does that make me?
Call a
Crazy, are you down?
What else do you have to do it?
Say my address, but it's not much of a. But to speak to a pharmacist.
Two performances of the year. It never took place. Stop building.
A concern that the I mean, it just
Promise me this.
I talked to her, but and it's okay. Who she's like I said,
Spoiler alert.
yes.
Pull them aside. Okay, so they either erased 30 minutes from the preceding live stream at the end, which is what I'm going to guess because it showed that they attempted to terminate it multiple times and went back to a black screen repeatedly.
Watching
And none of that is visible in the live stream. So I'm going to go with they erased 30 minutes of it, the last 30 minutes. Oh, I'm clicking back on that video actually. Live chat replay. I think I need to go in there and put
what?
turn chat off, or where do I see that on here? See the description. Oh yeah, I think they went in and they didn't just erase it. It looks like they got rid of the live chat replay. It's not visible on my end. No, it's not. So yes, they did. So I'll go into the settings and update that in a moment here. Let's go back to Matt and Shane's podcast. And I'll restore that chat relay that should be visible for everybody.
That's like a news camera.
like April O'Neil. Damn, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That is a big cam.
Oh, the biggest. Yeah, if they were doing it back then, they were real freaks.
Yeah.
You had to set up a tripod and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy. Being that freaky back then took a lot of gear.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't just like have a cell, now you can just have like a cell phone.
Sure.
Maybe be live streaming out to people or whatever, but like yeah, that sucks. Porn moms, that's gonna be a hard wave of kids growing up with OnlyFans moms.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, just some of them.
Yeah, man.
Because back in the, I used to work at I used to work in the photo department at a supermarket. Pretty cool guy.
Oh, that's actually
you
kind of
know
nice.
what I mean? And that was anytime you like a girl would drop off film, you were really hoping there was naked pictures on there.
Was there ever?
Nope, not once.
Freshman year, I worked at a West Coast Video. And if you're not familiar with West Coast Video, they had the room in the back.
Yep.
With the fucking beads.
You paid a couple visits.
Oh, what?
You worked there.
I used to look at the box and jerk off to the memory of the cover. I remember one was called Heinfeld. It was a Seinfeld spoof.
That's nice.
Hot. Yeah, Kramer had a hog on him. But this kid worked there, and his mom, single mom, worked there too. They both worked there. And you could see what everybody you get to take your movies home a week. No lie, this kid's mom rented Time for an Ass Fucking too. And he was time for an ass fucking for the next 4 years in high school.
That's tough.
Hated us.
Damn.
Time for ass fucking. This is early 90s.
Yeah, that's terrible.
She rented it knowing her son worked there?
Yeah. Didn't give a shit.
I mean, it was time for an ass fucking.
It's
That's all
time.
you do. It's time. It's time. You
You
gotta
see
go.
the big hand and the small. Yeah, like, it's time for an ass fucking.
It's ass fucking somewhere.
My boy's dad owned a bunch of independent, like not like a chain, not like West Coast. It was just like Epic Video or whatever. Those like
Movies,
forums.
remember movies.
But then Blockbuster came in and he had to close up. But he kept all the porn from like 5 locations. And it was all in the basement. And for years, we had no idea. We'd go over there for years.
It's
Had no
Fort Knox.
idea.
That's
Dude,
everything.
we're down the basement. And there's just wall-to-wall boxes. My buddy like like out of a movie, like falls into one and it just like spills out all over. He's like that whole box is porn. He's like, these are all porn?
Imagine
And
that.
we robbed the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Imagine that you're spending the whole summer jerking off to Southern Living and you got the fucking
Fucking Mecca.
treasure of Sierra Madre
Yeah.
downstairs.
Gazungas 3 and Lust at Sea we took.
What was it?
Gazungas 3 and the other one was Lust at Sea, and that made Lust at Sea made the rounds.
Really? Yeah, we had the Spanish Fly 14. That was the big tape.
Damn, they got up to 14.
It
That's pretty good.
it was a spoof on Psycho, and it was called the Butts Motel.
That's pretty good. That's a thinker though.
Yeah, the knife was a dildo in the shower. It was pretty good. Yeah, it's crazy they made porn funny back then.
I know.
Dude, and they also spent, I don't know who they had the writers. And I know it was like
Good, right?
my hormones were pumping, but man, the storylines, you'd be like fucking pre-coming when she's talking. Like, oh, he's not coming back for a while.
Okay, we're sharing a screen, and I'm going to go into my studio again, which means Unit 207's
I'm still
Domestic
doing
Terrorist
story
Organization
heads,
is
like,
going to go with
I
me.
need it.
And we're
I
going to
kinda need a
see
little bit.
why
It's
the
just
chat
like
replay isn't
smash
reflected
cuts
in the
and
preceding
stuff.
live
Yeah.
stream they criminally
Yeah.
and legally erased 30
Step-
minutes of
stepdaughter have to share a hotel room.
and terminated.
Bro,
Man.
Share bed might be one of my favorites.
share bed is nice.
Share bed
I
is.
was. I'll be honest. I was on share bed very early. Before it was like people were talking about it, and I was like, "This is wrong."
Yeah, it's
Sure,
so
man.
normal.
Before the stepmom
Okay,
genre, like early on, I got a shared bed video, and I kept going back to the well on that.
You thought it was wrong.
And I was like, "This is insane. This is terrible." Yeah, shared stepson and stepmom on vacation.
That was pre-stuck.
It was pretty
Dude,
stuck. It was
Stuck is
very
a-
early.
Dude, my
And then
buddy
stuck
was
came
like,
out, and everyone's not afraid to admit they're jacking off the incest porn. And I was like, "Oh, thank God, thank fucking
Well, tell
God."
step.
Step, that's
Step.
Or they'll claim step, and then in the video they won't say
Yeah,
step.
I'm your
sister.
mom. Let me jack you off.
Yeah, you're
that's,
like,
that's
all right,
something.
come on now. I'm
false
not,
advertising.
Yeah.
yeah.
Stuck didn't. I thought Stuck was going to have a moment,
I thought that was goofy.
and it didn't.
Sam.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Really? I thought stuck definitely.
Stuck
Nah.
didn't get me. I'm
I
shared
thought it was
bed.
going to be the next big thing, and I feel like
I feel like it is. I feel like
It
I've
had-
never heard a comedian not talk about stuck porn.
I think it exists.
I think you
There's
opened the
not that many-
floodgates. I didn't hear about it until you said it.
Well, Matt, don't put this on me.
You're really
Put stuck in
advocating for it.
put stuck into porn on me,
Freak
bro.
Zero, Shane
Who
Gillis.
knows? You love Notre Dame and you love stuck.
Notre Dame and stuck porn.
I have a
They're doing a
believability
new
issue.
Under Armour stuck porn commercial.
In the shared beds, the mom always slept it away. Like she would, like her ass was always fucking.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well,
She's
you're
like,
hard. I can help you with that. I go,
Yeah.
what the hell's
It's
going
always
on?
like, well, just because we need sleep, you know what I mean? It's like we have to get to
I
bed,
know.
so let me do
I
this.
told you we were
We have
going
a
to
big
talk
day
about
tomorrow.
Jack.
You know what I mean?
So motherly. Yeah, I've been off the porn. I don't want to shoehorn this into every discussion. I've been off since January.
Good for you. Are you thinking clearer?
Yeah, you get harder over less for sure. You get kind of like high school kind of boner type things.
Scrolling is a trigger for me because my Twitter feed and my search page on Instagram is just bad news. And I'll catch something and I'll just be like, all right, and then fucking right to fucking YouPorn.
Yep. The
Yeah,
alone,
the Instagram can draw one loose.
Ah, dude.
Yeah, you see it, you go,
especially
oh,
alone
shit.
in a hotel. That's what I have now. You know those things you strap to your head. There's a ball and a string, and you punch it. I have one of those, and I do that. I do that at night.
You're super gluing your eyes closed.
That's
and
crazy.
You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, those things
I'll
are
never
awesome.
leave that.
That's what I just.
Like
Trying so
distraction.
hard not to jack off. Shadow boxing it. I'm nuts. That's
That's
fucking crazy. Yeah, I'm horny as fuck. I better
Live chat
box.
replay is on it. Okay.
And the noise, you can probably hear it.
It still sounds like you're jacking
Yeah,
off,
it's like
dude.
pop, 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 pop. Dude, it was effective. It does calm you down though, because you get the willies after a show. You're like, I want to do something.
Of
bad.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
I
mean?
want to eat something.
Drink,
bad.
drugs, eat.
Yeah, you
something.
want to do something fucked up.
Yeah.
So I just punched the ball. I just fucking sit there and punch
You're an adrenaline high. You want to hurt yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I kind of can see. Remember hearing about those guys that have like hookers rub their backs? And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of those guys.
I can see it now. I'm like, dude, I used to like laugh when I was younger. Like, why the fuck would anyone do that? Now I'm like, nah, I got it. That's
Definitely.
just a hug. Right on.
Yeah.
It's a hug. Yeah, hug, some nice
I feel
words.
like talking to a lady.
Put you to sleep.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Maybe from
Him
behind.
with a Chris Nansen.
Just a
I
from
bring him to
behind
my
each
hotel
chair.
room and I go, what are you doing here?
You know I'm only
You're
12,
here to
right?
be a 37-year-old man. What are you doing?
With a ball hanging from his forehead.
That's the part I'm leaving out. There's just 4 like very cheap hookers.
Watching it.
I'm standing on.
You're showing them like it's a new toy.
I'm standing on their butts like a bocce ball. Yeah, I mean, dude, I wish women would be cooler about hookers. Honestly, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why are they so uptight about hookers?
Yeah.
Fucking legend.
Wives and hookers could be a team, and instead they would have to be enemies. I don't know why.
I agree. What's all the fighting about, huh?
There's enough of me to go.
What a catch you are, huh?
Plenty of bagel bites for everybody, girls. And knock this off.
They could team up.
I got a whole brick of Velveeta.
It's like watching a nature documentary when you see one of the wildebeest go down. There's a million wildebeest. It's like, dude, you guys can help, but you're too dumb.
To figure this out.
Isn't it
Hookers
weird?
and wives just got together. The wildebeest could
That's what I'm saying.
Isn't it weird? Nature documentaries, the way they present it, they can really twist your view of like, say it's a baby wildebeest and it's a lion. You're like rooting for the wildebeest to get away.
Yeah.
But then other times you're rooting for the predator. Like
Yeah,
the
they
way
change.
they spin it.
They spin it like crazy. And then
Yeah.
they set up cameras and then they add noises and they give the animals like human-like traits.
Or if they talk about like, you know, like I just watched one on polar bears and it was like a mom and two baby polar bears. And they really
Starts
had you
jacking off immediately. It says polar bears.
the one's a maid.
Oh, dude, I forgot. We're staying at Airbnb. He walked down the other day out of his bedroom. He's like, I'm going upstairs for a little bit. Comes up, closes the door, comes down, and just immediately starts washing his hands. And I'm like, dude, you couldn't make that any more blatant what you just did up there in the toilet. Dude, you couldn't hear him.
He's working on the car. What are you talking about?
He came right down. What's up? No shirt on. What's up, guy? Like you just had sex. You know,
No,
what's up?
I was filling up the rental car with washer fluid.
That is the one that you're like, I think I'm going to take a nap. 10 minutes later, you come out, you go, I couldn't sleep.
Got in the drilling next door. I couldn't hear nothing.
Immediately gets up and I got a huge stain right below my stomach.
He was giving you college roommate questions. Like, what are you going to do? I'm going to go take a nap. What are you
Yeah,
going to
are you gonna hit the calf or something? Like, you gonna get fourth meal? I gotta shut it down.
do? It's 10:30.
I'm just dying for a nap. I'm so tired.
I don't like down here too. They get in your business.
How do
They
you
want-
get on Pornhub down here? What are you guys doing? I get why you get off it now.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
man.
go
You
X
just got to go on the
videos.
old school ones.
What are you supposed to do? Put your email address in or something like that?
Just don't do it. Just
It's like the opposite.
What?
X
No,
videos.
it's, yeah, don't go on the
Never.
It's like the opposite. When you're, it's like when you're like younger and you need to get an older person to buy you alcohol. You got to ask the kids, like, what are you guys all jerking off?
You're not weird.
what's
Get
the
over
site?
here.
What's the
Yeah.
site?
Hang out at liquor stores.
Hey Billy, what's your email address?
But no, you just gotta like remember old porn sites, and that's what you just use.
X videos is
X
yeah.
videos.
I don't
Not just
get that.
X videos.
Yeah, it's just Pornhub. Pornhub, you can't go on.
I'm a hub man. I just never. Did you guys ever have a password back in the day to like
Yeah.
a Pornhub?
There was a browser's password.
So
Yeah,
easy.
That's
it
what
always
was.
circulates
And it was like
school.
14 sites you
Yeah.
could get.
huge,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
The X videos, it's weird because down here the porn is, I don't know. Now mine's all like Latinos and
Yeah,
Mexicans because
geographically,
we're
I think
close.
that's what you're into.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, you're bad. That's the bad algorithm.
It's the algorithm.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's kind of what's in demand right now.
Yeah.
Makes
I can
sense.
roll with that.
Exactly.
Go with it. Let's go.
Great.
Those passwords and shit like that. Our dads is they got fucked up by that. All that kind of stuff and the pop-ups.
Yeah.
My dad literally went through 5 laptops in like a 6-month period. I don't know. It's crazy. It's coming up. My mom was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it sucks. coming upon like if you hit like a desktop and you like see the search, they didn't know about search history.
No.
So you can see the search history and be like, God, oh man, what are you
The
doing?
old
Yeah.
man searching boobs like a fucking 8th grader.
Something about my dad. I was like, dude, we know you're fucking. Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. He's fucking parents. Like, dude,
Yeah.
watch porn. Come on, man.
My dick's a lot bigger now, though. Really?
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm saying you got some ad. You can click the ad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got dick bills.
I've added 5 to 7 inches.
I'm about this fucking mature lady in my area.
Local
Joke's on you, asshole. I'm about to fuck a bunch of locals.
Dude,
to jerk off
see it
together
hour.
with someone.
Yeah, but so yeah.
I want to know if that's ever worked out for anybody. I don't know a single person who's hit like the find.
Lemaire.
Does it work, Lemaire?
Lemaire's an internet hound. He'll search things up.
Does it work? Okay.
Sometimes what works?
Like those like find local single girls. You can find
That's
girls on
advanced
Reddit.
tech.
God damn.
Man, these
Yeah,
kids-
Reddit's like the new Craigslist kind of.
These kids. Lemaire's like 48.
These creeps, I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's cool. You did Reddit.
I had it work out one time. You know the numbers that you call and you can like talk to a lady?
Mhm.
I was able to convince her. I was like, well, we should meet up. I ended up meeting up with her.
What?
Yeah. She didn't look anything like she
1-900
described.
Yeah, do you think you looked up what you described?
6'6" Latino dude.
She looked like shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know if you can handle this.
Should
The,
be sitting in a dark room saying dirty words into a phone for
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah, we think she's the hottest girl in the world.
What
Where'd you meet?
I met at her place.
What?
This was in
scared you come up the steps.
it was the
He stopped at a landing. He's just breathing heavy.
Yo, no way. This is
What the fuck?
Hey guys, Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. We'll see. But yeah, go on a mother.
was crawling in somebody's ear and screaming, and I
What a
was
sweet life you were living at the time.
I was so bugged out, and the kids were so sweet. And I remember like we were in there, we hooked up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I thought for like a week that this was a sign from God that I was supposed to like marry this woman and save her and the kids. I just never talked to her again. But for a couple of days, I really thought like I had like a sign from God. But I remember she's like, "Let's get the kids out of the house or whatever." And they're like, "Can we go to the store or whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah." I
You're
had
dumb
couple
and you're
buddies on me.
going
Then the
to
dude on the couch comes in and
prison.
was like, "Oh, can I grab something too?" Just gave him a 20, and then they came back with like Chinese food or something, and we all ate as a family.
That's awesome.
And then watched Kung Fu Hustle and went to sleep. And I slept with toilet paper in my ears because I didn't want the roaches to crawl.
Did you boner?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, what are you talking about?
On the Chinese food run, you banged?
Yeah, on the Chinese food run.
I
And
had,
then that
I had a
night-
similar like horrific horny story. I remember I was at a strip club, met a stripper, whole thing, exchanged numbers. I'm like, yes, I could finally date a stripper. This would be so sick. And I went to her house and there was just a 9-month-old infant there, and I was like, all right. Just like I think we might have kissed.
Yeah, it's a good kiss though.
You just dip her the pacifier in sweet and sour McDonald's sauce and put it in the baby's mouth, and I was like, dude, this is fucking dark.
Holy
And then
shit.
there were trans prostitutes she told me this, and they were like making a ruckus up there. They were up there banging around. And she was like, yeah, dude, like they'll set up shop in the hallway. I'll just hear like dong, dong, dong against the door and open up, and one of them was getting piped out in the hallway. Like, we get upstairs, you guys, and like shut the fuck up. It was rugged, man. That's when you get a taste and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna scale it back a
Not
little
about
bit.
that life.
Yeah, not at
Shot
all.
you out of
dude. Not at all.
The yoga ball story. I was living in a studio apartment in Queens. This is towards the end of my first run in New York before I moved home to Philly and did comedy. I was doing a lot of blow, My brother had like got engaged and moved out of the apartment that we lived, and I was by myself, and it was bad. I was working at this place, I was doing blow, and maybe like 6 months in, it was like a nice little apartment on the first floor, just been redone, had all stuff in there, I was making a go of it. I got bed bugs, and I had to throw out everything in my apartment, every single thing in my apartment. So I had a blow up mattress that was like my bed, like in the corner. Like I had like a comforter and shit on this thing after I cleaned it all out.
Easy sitting there.
And I had a yoga ball for my computer where I would fucking sit there, do blow, jerk off, all that kind of stuff. You know, the norm. Yeah. And I had this hooker over there one night, and fucking, I was smoking. You know, we're watching porn, obviously, and all that kind of stuff.
Obviously, that's what you do when you get a hooker.
And I was smoking a cigarette, and I was naked, and I was probably covered in like olive oil or Vaseline or something. Completely naked.
You were ready for sex.
And
I had to go in the oven at 350 for an hour. Poke some holes in them and let them sweat, baby.
now you just want to heat him up. He's fully cooked. And I just put my cigarette down, and it popped the fucking yoga ball. And I just fucking and I remember she started laughing at me. And she had like a deviated septum, so she was like just snorting and laughing at me. And man, I'm sorry about that.
It's the funny. I mean, sitting there bouncing, smoking a cigarette, just oiled up, naked.
You're as cool as you can be at that moment. You got a fucking hooker. You're
Totally.
having a blast, and then boom, on the
Did
fucking
the little
ground.
pin that holds the air and fly out, or did you blow it out?
Blood,
He claims it was the cigarette. There's obviously it was not the cigarette.
there's a weight issue.
Yeah.
I wasn't as
Hey,
big back
dude,
then.
this is so recent. This size.
Yeah,
sure
I wasn't
was.
up
Yeah, but how big were you? Like you were still.
maybe 250.
Yeah.
All right, that's the body. Dudes who are 250 ain't doing yoga.
Bounce up and down on a
Goddamn
fucking-
Chinese made yoga balls. Fucking bullshit. Yeah, I was.
No way it was the cigarette.
No, I think it went down like in pop because it blew up like from the burn hole.
Really?
I never thought about
I
it.
believe you.
Yeah,
I believe you.
now I don't believe him. And I've never thought about it, but he lies about
Obviously, a
everything.
cigarette.
That was
wouldn't-
for sure.
How's it going to land on a?
Maybe it rolled over a safety pin or something like that.
Sniper in the next building took him out.
It's probably the hooker's fault, honestly.
It was definitely.
I had some jack sprinkled on the floor. That's right. I had a set of spike strips in the house. I forgot.
That's why your spiked brass knuckles you were playing with at the same
Yeah,
time.
I was showing her my butterfly knife. Yeah, pretty cool.
Did you fall flat on your back?
Dude, like that.
Oh.
Yeah, right on my ass. I remember my coccyx bone was sore for like 2 weeks after that.
Having a
The
hooker
loud
sure
was the
laugh, though.
explosion.
Oh, dude, it's like a gun went off. It was like 4 a.m, and I was real paranoid because I was on the first floor in the lobby, and I had 2 doors. Like I had 2 doors that entered my apartment, and like I'd get so cooked up, I'd be like listening to the doors to see if everybody was in there. I was sketched out. You want to take the romance out of the room? Fucking pop a yoga ball covered in olive oil.
He's
Yeah,
a freak.
he was
He's
obviously a
got fucking
freak.
issues, man.
He's a
I
freak.
had real dry skin. I'm a freak, man.
You're
all
getting,
right.
you're getting
Oh,
over
Yeah,
it.
what are you talking about?
He's gonna dish out of
You've
your
never been covered, you've never been covered in Pam spray before. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever get a Nuru massage?
And what?
A Nuru?
A new room?
When a lady like greases herself up and just slides herself across you?
No.
Have
Yeah.
you?
There's a porn category that
Yeah,
I
I
saw.
know, and it's kind of
I got one in
it
real
oddly
life.
catches my eye, but doesn't fully get
No,
there.
I got one in real life, and it was just like an older, kind of drug-addled lady just laid on me for a while in a motel. I was just sitting like a shitty like highway motel, being like, "Okay, I'm good on this now."
She came to you?
I went there.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
at a motel?
It was like a side of the highway outdoor motel.
So it wasn't really a spa per se.
They typically do it on like an air mattress for like the
Yeah, this
oil.
was just the
This was on the
bed.
blankets,
Utilized.
just ruining a blanket with fucking
Just-
old lady oil.
Yeah, it just
Oh.
ruined the
Hey, you're
bed.
not going to get your deposit back, baby.
It was underwhelming. I thought they built it up so much on the video in the movies, and then I was like, "It's gonna be awesome."
It's Hollywood for you.
It was just like a very fucked up lady. I had to run her to Rite Aid afterwards.
For what?
She had to like go buy supplies. She had to buy like hooker supplies. She's like, "Can you give me a ride to Rite Aid?" And I was like, "Yeah, fine." Hop in. Dropped her off.
Grab me some Cheez-Its when you're in there, will you? Grab me a Whitman sampler.
The Reddit trip after.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's
I had a
awful.
weird pride where I really prided myself back then on being able to like really chop it up with prostitutes. I'm like, now we can like chill and talk.
Yeah.
And
Is that a big thing for you? Prostitutes?
I took a yeah, I had a period. And I took it. This is like I felt really nice to like sit there and just like once all the business was handled, just sit and fucking chat.
Yeah.
It's kind of business. Well, yeah, once we settled our affairs.
Some contracts were signed.
That's crazy.
Like
dude.
Swiss businessman. Once you get done talking business, you talk about
That must be just insane. Like, I'm sure the post-nut clarity for most guys is like, holy fuck, what am I doing in this motel?
Yeah, but when you got a cool
Man,
one,
your post-nut's like, you need a ride?
when you got a cool
Right,
one, you liked it. They were cool. Like the cool ones were cool as shit.
Yeah.
Like they got it. They're like, yeah, you could hang out with them and shoot the shit.
Some are chill, yeah. You can just kind of, it's really tempting to be like, can I just be like a guy? Should I just like be a security guy for you or something? Because you do want to get into it. You're like, dude, I can just hang out in shitty motels. What are we going to freebase cocaine? I guess I've never done that before. I guess I could do that.
Yeah. See where this
To
goes.
get your supplies. Could be your guy, dude.
Even Rite Aid with a fucking thing of tinfoil and baby oil.
One of my favorite quotes from Ari Schaefer isn't even on one of his comedy specials. He was talking on one of his podcasts, and he said he was the cool uncle because he did drugs and
Dude,
bought
that's the
prostitutes.
now it's fucking
Condoms, family planning now. They call it condoms.
Yeah.
Dude.
And that is like
Condoms, the fucking heat
so
up
true
the
about
lube
everybody's
on
favorite
your
uncle,
My
right?
wife at a meeting, I'm going to use Astroglide and fuck her in the blood. It's family planning. That's the family planning aisle. We've had a long talk.
Yeah, we really thought things through and we're ready to try a cock ring.
They sell cock rings at fucking CVS. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
No way.
It's just a lube. It's lube condoms and then.
No, they have the vibrating cock
Yeah,
ring.
they
You
do.
put
That's
all-
what
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
kidding
yeah,
around. They
yeah.
have cock rings
No.
too.
Yeah.
It's like a
You can't get
vibrating.
pregnant unless you come, you know?
It's right next to the
True.
dental floss.
True. Dang, I gotta bust one. I gotta bust out a vibrating cock ring. I haven't
Dude,
bust
it's
one
like,
of those out.
It's been a while.
It's been
It's been a while since I.
possibly a decade.
Yeah, you've used one of
Oh,
those?
for sure.
Really?
I thought we were joking. How'd it go?
Pretty amazing. Honestly.
Probably made you.
Wait, it's down at
right
the
away.
down at the shaft shaking?
It just
Yeah.
goes down there and buzzes. And you
It
can,
seems like it makes sense, right?
dude, it's if you want to feel like an all-star, yeah. It's just
Huh.
your dick just becomes a fucking, dare I say, little vibrator.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's just on the
Yeah, that's the
bottom, and
goal.
every time you get all the way in, rather than them being like, they're going, oh, what's that?
Yeah. Instead of them going, that's it. Huh?
I don't know. I think my dick's too small for that. My balls
They keep
my
falling
balls would be going back and forth like one of those things on a desk. That wouldn't be a good look.
Yeah, you do. There is like a if you lose, yeah, they're definitely not one size fits all. So like if you lose any hardness, if that thing starts wobbling around, you just gotta like pinch the fucking, you just gotta give it a little twist and be like, yep, we're so good.
Oh, it's
Filling this
funny
thing
if
the
the
fuck
cock
up.
ring's too big for you.
You got to do a dry run by yourself
Yeah, for
to make
sure.
sure.
For-
You
yeah,
can't
you
just fucking
obviously-
whip
Yeah,
that out and
you
then
break it out and it's too big. You gotta go, you know what? Let's not even use this.
You gotta beat off with it first. You have to just test it out.
sure.
You guys did dry runs back in the day. You did dry runs with condoms before you started having sex. And using, right?
Yeah.
That's called a dress rehearsal.
Yeah,
Right?
that was a dress rehearsal. They
Yeah,
were
right.
fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed those.
That
They
was
were.
great. You get your
Yeah.
hands on like a lifestyles or something, man.
Gotta use it.
It's good stuff.
No mess either. Yeah, that was almost instinctual. If you see a condom, you're gonna like the first condom you see, you use it to beat off, kind of.
Yeah.
At least I did. I was just like,
I did it a good amount, more than I probably.
Yeah, I entered an adult
Would like
phase.
to
I
look at
entered
both.
like an embarrassing
Not
adult
all in
phase.
the
Of
adult
that.
phase doing
I
that.
was just jerking.
Don't feel bad for a second, bro.
Wait, what?
What age?
Don't worry about it, Kev.
I would say
I might get back in the
Stay out.
I
game.
would say McCuskey was a little freaking.
I was
serious.
a freaky
Yeah,
zoid.
I was a
really?
freakazoid. Yeah, late 20s, early
Still
30s.
freaky. That's why he's like, I'm off porn.
It all makes sense now.
I want the live action.
I remember they were like, yeah, I remember they were for like, just like if there was like a period thing or like,
Sure.
before like there was like pill issues, like if you're on the pill off, like we'll have condoms just in case. I remember at one point they were just calling, like, what the fuck? And I was like, I beat off the pill. I genuinely did. Like, oh my god, you must be doing this. I was like, no, I feel like beat off in the bathroom with them.
Yeah.
Like on the Tuesday afternoon.
It was
It just took forever, I remember.
my parents found a
Yeah.
condom in my bedroom, and it was after I had just all my guy friends sleep over.
Oh,
And they were like, "What the fuck?"
Somebody's jock
You can't
straps.
be like, "Mom, I was jacking off." It's either that or I was butt fucking one of my
we were
friends.
having sex. We were
I was
checking
having
off.
protected gay sex with one of my buddies.
We were just mutually masturbating.
Yeah. Condom in the room is
That's devastating.
Yeah.
Although you know, if it's like young kids, it's like people
Yeah,
have.
I think I was like a senior in high school.
That's borderline.
Still, it's
Yeah,
it's like someone had that thing on them. It's not like I wouldn't jump to like my son was fucking a 5-man butt fucking fest.
It's either
That's
that
a
or-
big jump, dude.
No, but I mean, there was no women.
True, but like
Clearly.
kids have them on them. Like we were in high school. I
Yeah.
remember you keep like a lifestyles in your wallet.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
bro, it's gonna be sick.
No, it was used.
It was. Oh wait,
Yeah, it's not like they found the wrapper. It was
Oh.
a condom.
It was-
It was
Oh,
a used. It was a
no.
jizzed condom I threw
I
on
did not know
that's my bed and then lost it. Yeah.
Wait, so whose was it?
It was me. I was jacking off.
Oh, all right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, they didn't find a condom like my gay son.
Oh, I was like, that's
No, it's just a used condom after an all dude sleepover. They're like, what the fuck happened?
Oh man.
I was like, yeah, my friend Jared used it. Just immediately blamed the
That's
friend.
fucking wildly upsetting.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like, maybe it's kind of sus, but I don't.
No, it's
A
real
used
sauce.
cum.
Come.
Damn. You should have said. You should have like completely like, yeah, Jared did it, and then someone else licked the wrapper.
The rapper.
I tried to tell them to stop. They were all just having sex with each other.
All my friends had
I
sex.
told him my mom's gonna find this and get me right in the head.
There's a piece of gum on the tip of it.
Did they say? Did your mom confront you or your dad?
Oh, my dad.
Oh, what did he say? He was like,
What the hell's going on up there? He's like, I think you left something on the floor in your bedroom. Get up there. And I was like, oh my God, it's a condom.
So what? You put it on, jerked off, and then just slung it to the side in your parents' house?
It was bedtime.
That's,
I had to get my 8 hours.
you gotta get up and get rid of the evidence.
Of course.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm talking about it now. 20 years later, I'm still thinking about that mistake.
What more did you have important that like fell to the third thing on the list?
That's the whole beauty.
Were your
of
boys in the room?
whacking off with a condom.
It's
No,
almost
no, no,
9:30.
that was also that's a CP. That's an early CP.
It's a CP.
That
And then
puts you
you
right out. That's an early cream pie.
you
basically.
take it
Oh,
off.
for sure.
Coming into a
you,
condom's kind of intense as a young man.
I
That's
remember thinking about it, like, what's it gonna do when it happened? Like, what's it gonna? I was just like, I was baffled by it.
yeah.
It's pretty
You
cool.
see a little. I remember seeing a little tip and being like, Psh, fill that
Fill
thing
that thing up, no problem.
Reservoir tip.
There you go. I didn't really.
When I first saw
Anything
the
up at
bottom,
all. Yeah,
when
great.
I first saw it, I never thought that's what it was going to look like. I thought it had like straps. I didn't understand what it was. And when I saw it, I was like, man, that's a great design. It's just a thin. If I would have been of research and development on condoms, we'd be 30 years
Yeah.
behind.
To be using lambskin.
Oh, remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody used to have a good joke. I think it was the Apollo had a good joke about that. A lambskin skin condom. Then you'd fuck the girl and the whole room would smell like a gyro.
The straps are so fucking.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was like foam and went around, and it couldn't click in my brain that it was supposed to catch the stuff coming out. I thought it was like a knee brace, like a lineman would wear, like something. I thought it was a Don joint.
It was orthopedic.
That's all
God
right.
damn.
Yeah, I knew we were going to talk about condom and jacking off.
I know.
What
Did your
else we
parents
got?
ever catch you having sex in the house with anybody?
No.
I got caught sucking boobs in like 7th grade.
Really?
That's pretty cool though. That age.
That was pretty
Yeah,
sick.
yeah, yeah.
So
My
busted you.
dad walked down in his underwear. He's like, "Whoa, Jesus Christ!" And I had like a Flyers jacket unzipped and open. So sucking
Yeah.
boobs. Dad went, "Oh God!" and he just left.
Who was this bruiser wearing a fucking
Yeah.
Flyers starter jacket?
That's crazy.
Did you pick her up outside the Spectrum?
She was an 8th grader.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Finally, we can brag about it. Yeah, it was an 8th grader's boobs I was sucking on. I hope no one clips this.
I know.
I like how you did it
Grade.
like that too. Opened it up.
Took a while, man. Watching a movie slowly, watching Jurassic Park slowly. It was like,
Yeah.
A long zipper.
Yeah. full.
No, it's a
It was
half
an all the way.
on
It was
that
an all the way zip down. It was a full zip down. Yeah. Just throw a pullover would be crazy.
It's a good
Pop a
scenario.
titty out of the top.
Sounds back to a few good men.
Someone's done it before. Someone stuck titties under a starter jacket before. I'm
For
sure.
sure.
Those things, dude. That was like that made your whole year back then. Like what starter jacket you got?
Yeah.
Ah,
I had the Miami Hurricanes. I thought that was like a sick logo.
I had a 76ers. Loved it.
Yeah.
the Orlando Magic for some reason.
I had Orlando Magic.
Shaq was big.
Yeah.
The Charlotte, who, if you saw a kid
Charlotte
in
was
Philly wearing
nice.
Charlotte, that kid was a dirtbag. That was
Oh,
a
yeah.
broken home for sure.
It's
Funny
funny
you got that at Foreman Mills or something.
Yeah.
now you feel the obligation, you got to stick to your teams. But for a while, it was like very fashionable to have like, you could have like an Atlanta Hawks hat or
Yeah, we were
fucking,
basically black people at that point.
yeah.
Dude, I saw a dude wearing the NBA jeans the other day in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
NBA
Like all the
jeans.
patches on them.
Yeah.
I was like, dude,
Damn.
remember them? They had
Oh,
all the
yeah.
patches. It was like Lloyd Banks used to
For
wear.
sure.
Yeah, I was like, God damn,
He
dude.
busted him back out.
I don't know, maybe he's still wearing
Just
them.
love the league.
True. Yeah.
Just maybe,
That,
yeah.
that particular team just
Crazy.
supports the team.
Yeah, I learned. I was on Kill Tony like a couple months ago, and I saw there was a black gentleman performing, and his jeans were like almost all torn, like all holes.
Mhm.
That was kind of like the latest iteration I'd seen.
I was a big jersey and matching fitted kid. Man, very heavily influenced by G Unit.
Yeah.
G-Unit got me too. That was
How could you not? That was like
Yeah,
he came in like a fucking tornado.
Yeah.
I know. I always wanted. I never got one of his like G Unit wife beaters.
Those things are wild.
Fuck, those things are so
I
sick.
couldn't wear a
God, I didn't
basketball
get one.
jersey. No matter, even as in shape as I ever was, I could not wear a fucking. I just looked bad in them. I looked like I worked for the Joker. Like it was just like I like proper henchmen. It was just not a good look.
Yeah.
And I used to dudes that could pull those off. It was great.
You gotta wear them at the beach. That's when it's
Yeah.
That's a pro fat guy move.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. I don't have a shirt on. I
Yeah.
just really like the team.
I made a promise to myself a long time ago. As fat as I was a kid, I'm not going to be the kid wearing the t-shirt or
Yeah, of
whatever in the
course.
pool.
Yeah.
So I would take the shit off before we got to the pool. Be like, this is
Oh,
it.
no.
This is me.
Let's roll.
Wanna
Now,
suck some
dude,
titties in a
now
starter
it's like
jacket?
everyone wears shirts now. Everyone wears the
Oh,
SPF
yeah.
shirts.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
They are kind of fucking
I enjoy
nice.
wearing
dude.
those.
Yeah, I had one in the pool.
A con man was hitting me with those. He was wearing them first when we were at the beach, and I was like, "You look like a dumbass." And
Yeah.
He bought me one. I was like, "These are fucking sick."
You don't have to put sunscreen on at all.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just hit your nose.
Yeah, all the kids have them. I tried my shirt once in a pool, and then you don't think you get out.
It's
A
so
regular
Like, oh, the
t-shirt?
sun. You lie. You're like the sun. It was navy blue too. It was not even like.
dark. Yeah.
He's in
It's a
there.
bad look.
He's in there in a button down.
And I got out, and then it's like then your shirt's wet. I didn't have an extra
You're
shirt,
ruined.
so I'm
Yeah.
just like, then you have to either take it off
Or just
out of the pool, which is worse than in the pool, or just
Wait,
hang
what?
out in a
won't
wet
come
t-shirt.
off. You're just like,
Brutal.
yeah. The shirt in the pool is crazy, man. Especially just being wet, like you were saying. After you're done,
You're
you're
just so.
so
And
uncomfortable.
it's uncomfortable to swim in.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You might like spread out a little while you're swimming. You look like an octopus.
Yeah.
Just pink.
That's asking to get dunked. The fat kid wearing the shirt. That's easy pickings. You're going under.
That's a brutal look. I had the thought process too of like, no one will know.
Yeah.
No one's gonna believe that it's fat. It is because I
Yeah.
burn
Even
easily.
the adults are like, "Yeah, fat kid.
I know.
Somebody dunk him."
My dad. I was a real fat kid growing up. My dad was a fat kid too.
Yeah.
And so he just like looked at me and he's like, knock it off. Like he was like so devastated that I was also a fat kid.
Yeah.
I learned it from you.
Yeah.
Getting called out by your parents for fucking late night snacking.
Yeah.
My mom still does that. She'll be in bed at like 8:30, and if we stay at the house, I'm down there fucking rummaging through. How you going down there?
You're rummaging.
It's like a grizzly bear
My
from the
mom-
trash cans.
My
I
mom
put the
was-
food in a bear bag.
Hanging outside from a tree. He's out there.
Yeah, my mom would just tell me, she's like, you got fat. Like, she'll just like look at me and be like, you put on a lot of weight. You look kind of fat.
They're vicious with that shit.
Just doesn't mince words. She'll be like, yeah, you're getting a little hefty there.
I get that you look good, and I'm like, I'm about to die. Like I'll come off the road for like 2 weeks. My head's like this
Yeah.
big. She's like, you look good. Meanwhile, like I had to go to the hospital recently because my insides hurt. Oh,
yeah.
hair came back there. Said it's probably a muscle. I rolled with it. For sure, thought I was dying.
Happens.
Trying to turn it all around.
This 2025 is the
My
year
year.
everyone turns
We're all gonna
around.
turn it around.
You got
Possibly 2026. But definitely
Maybe 28.
28 is
Push
going to be a
it.
golden
28, I
age.
know is going to be good.
Well, we're going to slide in probably a golden age, like as a country in 2028, probably.
Nah, fuck that. I'm going the other way.
I think it's going to be doom.
Yeah.
I'm riding it out.
He was worried about the asteroid this morning.
I'm praying
He's
for
like, is
it.
this thing going to fucking hit us or not? I'm like, dude, what are you doing in your room, man? This is brutal conversation at fucking
I'm
9
praying
a.m.
for it. That sounds like we're going to wait till 2032 for this thing to hit us.
Yeah.
It's 2032.
That's what they said, yeah.
Are we going to use all of our missiles to blow it up?
Can't deflect it.
Hmm?
It's past the point of deflection, they said. So I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're just going to ride it out wherever it hits, deal with it.
Wait, why can't they blow it up into a bunch of pieces?
Armageddon, this thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Get Fushemi on the horn.
I read something that it's too far past where we'd be able to hit it or something like that. I also have no idea. I'm getting this from Instagram. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking
Mid
about.
beat,
Yeah.
he's reading that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I feel like I mean, if it's still in outer space, can't we just send nukes into outer space?
I don't think that shit. I think that don't work. That thing's cooking. It's like 28,000 miles a second. Bounce right off of it. Especially if it's like iron or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. Just heats it up and it hits us harder.
Yeah.
Makes it angry.
It just pisses it off.
Now you're all in big trouble.
Gets bigger.
I wonder who it's going to hit. Because it's going to all depend on the way the Earth's turning.
Yeah.
How big is it? How big
If
is
it
it?
even hits us.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna hit us.
They're just doing the asteroid fear cycle.
Yeah. So
They get me with the plane cycle.
Dude.
That,
Buddy.
we're in bad shape right
Bro,
now.
Yeah.
god damn it. All of a
That's
sudden,
taking
fly
a
every
flight
fucking
in
10
2
minutes.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's a flight that any of us could have been on. Minneapolis to Toronto.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's
what the
rough
fuck?
routing, though.
I know.
Everybody lived though, so I don't know if the pilot's a hero or a fucking dumbass. Everybody walked away.
He like flipped out. It was like the Miracle on the Hudson on ground. He just flipped it over.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Kings of Tupelo when he's like, they call me a retard and a dumbass. yeah.
How the fuck did it flip? He was just going a little too fast.
You are a retard
And look,
and
I don't
a
know if-
dumbass.
I don't know if
Sorry.
they hit the right, if he overshot the runway,
He-
but it looks
he
like he
bounced.
hits the right.
Verified.
engine, immediately catches on fire. So he like bounced and then it just flipped over. But as it flipped over, those wings came right off.
Yeah.
So it
Let
was
that
on
sink
fire.
in.
But everybody inside was cool. They got out.
Everybody got out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I always take my seatbelt off early, and I think about that all the time before we land.
Even
I'm like,
before landing, you
I
take
do it
it
every
off?
now and again. Yeah, I'll be
That's
like,
why.
The second we touched the ground, I snapped that thing.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
second you're proper
Yeah, you gotta
landing.
land.
I'll take it off. I'll just if they don't remind me to put it back on, I'll just. My dream is to surf the flight, to stand in the aisle and surf landing.
That'd be nice.
That would be decent.
But if you're the seatbelt, if you're not wearing it, you'd be the one deaf. You know how embarrassing
That's
that
what I'm
would be?
saying. If it flips over, I'm like,
It
I
flips,
thought
so
about
you're
that.
the
I'm like,
one
dude,
deaf.
this flipped. I would fall. That'd be a hard fall to
Yeah.
the ceiling.
I'd be done. I'd probably take out the lady next to me.
Yeah.
And in front and behind. probably.
Sure.
All of the 88 passengers, 87 unscathed.
Here's
One
the-
guy fucking
Well,
dead.
here's the thing,
One
though.
guy trying to be cool.
Dumbass.
No,
said he was
here's the
gonna surf
thing.
landing and fucking exploded.
Now, dudes just jump the other way.
But if you flip, then they're all on the ceiling in their seatbelts,
Yeah.
and then you got to do that thing upside down and
Yeah,
try to
no, I'm
let some
surprised
cat.
nobody fucking got wrecked.
Which that would be so far in my gut that I wouldn't be able to get it out. I would definitely have shit in my pants too.
Oh yeah.
That would suck.
I saw one guy though. There's footage of people getting out, and the guy grabs the lady's butt
I
on the
saw
way.
that.
What?
But
Part
I
of me
think,
was
I
like,
think that he has to get him
I
up.
know, but
But he grabs her ass.
yeah, on the
What, to
way out,
push
he's
her up
like,
to
"Here
get
you
her out
go,
of the seat?"
get out of
Well,
there.
as he gets her on the turn.
Yeah.
So it's not even like the push. It's like he's guiding, he guides her in, and then he fucking,
Hoink,
yeah.
Yeah, he was a little hoink.
little bowling action.
I'm
He
pretty
honked
sure
it
that
up,
guy
yeah.
was not straight, though.
We've
Probably
crunched
not.
those
Male
numbers.
flight attendant,
Yeah.
Asian male flight attendant, and being precise.
Yeah, for being precise. Little male cheer. He probably hasn't done this like
True.
male cheerleading in a while.
We've crunched those numbers. It's been like 4 months where every week, every couple of weeks, it's something.
I know.
If you go globally, I mean South
Well,
Korea, they had like
Asia's going nuts. Asia's been going nuts though.
nuts,
Yeah, those airlines.
crazy.
I'm never going over there.
That video, you see the video of the one last year, the guy he's filming himself, the one that went into
Yeah.
the gorge? Fuck.
Pretty
that.
quick.
Yeah.
Is it just Korean airlines that like all Asian airlines have been acting up?
I think they typically act up over there.
You think
It's a
they'd
funny
be-
way to call
like
it.
Malaysia.
Acting up as they plummet to the ground. You boys acting up out there?
Really playing a fool over there.
Wouldn't you think they'd
No
have that
house.
shit kind of on lock though?
Dude, you would think South Korea, everything's probably fucking tight, meticulous.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, fucking.
I think it's
Well,
also
it might be an operator issue.
Therein lies the problem.
It's bad.
Something wrong.
Oh man, we were just
We
talking
too
about
low.
that. The funniest thing to ever happen in the world.
So fucked up.
Something wrong. Something. What was the
too
third
low.
one?
Something wrong. We too low. And
Yeah.
that was like Bing Bow Ow. Or like it was like something about the crash.
Like the noise or something.
I wonder who did that. We were talking this morning. It was probably like an intern or something like that that snuck that in there.
That's so
I
fucking.
mean, that guy should have got a writing job somewhere.
Yeah. Didn't the one just straight up disappear one time too? That's
Malaysia,
crazy.
yeah,
Malaysia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Malaysia
it
straight up
was-
disappeared.
We too low. Holy fuck. Bang ding ow. Bang ding ow.
That's so fucked up.
Something wrong. We too low.
Has anyone
Holy
ever-
fuck. Bing ding
With the
ow.
Malaysian airline, everyone thinks they went in the ocean. What if they went into outer space?
Whoa, that fucking. That's crazy.
Matt,
Never even.
you're onto something.
Have them stop the asteroid.
Why exactly? Yeah,
Maybe
true.
that's what they're doing. We're gonna find out in 2032. Malaysian Airlines.
How pissed would you be? You're on a vacation. That's when they pull you. Like, fuck.
What? The outer space? Yeah, I'd be
I only got
furious.
6 pairs of underwear with me.
I'd be furious.
I didn't bring enough Nexium. I'm gonna have wicked heartburn up there.
He's brutal to travel with. Constantly needs to do laundry and
Oh,
shit.
the fucking Ozempic burp on a plane.
Oh fuck!
I think about that all the
I
time
thought
too.
the toilet was broken because we got all the guys like it's not really flushing right, and we were in the front row. So I'm like, God damn, it fucking smells like shit. I'm like,
I didn't
if this,
say-
I'm like,
I
if
didn't
this
say
is the whole
anything.
flight, I'm gonna fucking
It's fucking airline's falling apart, man.
Ozempic burp.
dude. Then we get down here. We're out front of the mothership. This is like last year. When we're out front of the mothership, we see people like, "Yo, are you garbage?" Like, so we're like talking to them. Smells like sewage out there. I just think that's 6th Street. You know what I mean? And it's just like a fucking 3 weeks after mothership opened. We're sitting at the bar having a beer before our spots, and I'm like, the plumbing in this place too? What the fuck? The 3 places I had been with him in a row. I'm like, the sewage, goddamn. And he goes, you smell that? I go, how the fuck can't you? He's like, that's me. And I was like, and then he's like, do you think the fans smelled that? I was like, for sure. But
I
the
had a
only,
septic tank put in me.
the only good thing is no one would ever think that's human. So like, no one's ever gonna go, that's Foley. They're like, there's a sewer main
It smelled
broken.
like shit when we were talking to those guys.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's external influence. That's
Ozempic
environmental.
burp, that's a real thing. Then Ozempic burps.
Yeah, I had it so bad.
What?
Yeah, because some people they don't get the side effects that bad. We're talking to Mike Eaton, hosted the other night, and he was saying that
Was that the kid getting them?
He was doing-
He's got a guy.
We had hosted the show at the pop-up show. The Great was doing straight fucking Ozempic. He gets it from like a guy.
Oh,
But he said he doesn't have problems with it. And I know people that didn't have problems with it. I had it so bad. Where like shit would just stops your stomach.
yeah.
So my shit would just sit in there and fester.
Oh,
Like the Sarlacc pit, just fucking bubbling up.
He was brutal.
And dude, the burps were so fucking bad. Me and
Burps were worse than the farts, which is crazy.
whoa.
I had it real bad. Me and my wife flew to Greece and we came back and I got jammed up in customs and it was like an hour and a half line. And it was like every 30 seconds. I was like,
Trying to do the fat girl blow out the side.
and I started to hear the people behind me go, what the fuck? So I started, but every time I would do it, I'd go,
What the hell?
what the fuck? You guys, that's crazy.
Someone got some bad meat in their bag or something.
It sucked.
Oh my god.
The only one that ever smelled it was Ari. He was the only one brave enough. I was like, you're the only one I can ask this to. Do you want to smell one? He's like, yeah, go ahead. Hey, you don't want any more of it. You don't want the smoke. It's like rotten eggs, dude.
You're dragon. You're dragon.
A proper dragon.
Dragon's
Oh,
breath.
Oh. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it sucks.
And you were in line for what was that?
Doing customs.
Oh
it was
my
like
god,
an hour.
I would have fucking killed myself if somebody was burping shit.
And we were
in the customs line is maybe my
So
least favorite place.
oh,
When you
so
land
long.
at JFK,
oh,
just fucking Afghanistan Airlines just got
Brutal.
off next to you. It's coming off worse than I wanted to. But you know what I mean?
Among others,
Yeah.
I should have listed like in fucking
And
Norway,
also,
Iceland Air or something.
Australia's
Yeah.
those motherfuckers
Australia,
too.
those cocksuckers.
I do get mad when the international line's moving faster than the American line.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah,
It's like I
shut that
pay my
down.
taxes type shit. Really,
Yeah.
it gets you in the fucking gut.
But we
Yeah.
were only moving in small increments, so I couldn't even like do
You
it in
couldn't
a
hide the
getaway.
burp, yeah.
No, bad. Had to keep that up for an hour and a half,
Oh,
sipping a ginger ale, praying it would go
Get
away.
Is that what your belly-
some carbonation in there. Get those burps really
Trying to
going.
kill this.
get that real ginger in there, just floating around.
Yeah.
But when you would take care, that was like when you were coming off of 2 weeks in fucking Greece, so you were eating like a fucking maniac.
So
when
better
he would
training and diet.
when he would stay on top of it, it was a little better. But when like on the road, it was just we'd be in a minivan and dude, we got to pull over. It smells like one of those old cars that smells like sulfur. You know what I mean?
Oh, so it's
The farts were even worse.
what?
I
you
got
you
that.
wouldn't know what it
A
was.
burp is.
Dude, it was crazy. And they were like long and hot and just like it was like a gas leak.
He shit his pants on the tour bus.
That happens. Ozempic, it slows up your whole digestive system.
Yeah.
So like everything just moves so slow.
Yeah.
And how much could you eat on that? Did it like slow you down big time?
Me or
Yeah. You.
I would press through it. I probably should have stayed on the Japanese saying that you eat till you're 80% full.
Yeah.
If I was maybe doing that, I would have been all right. But I would push through it. Because at the time, it would-
Japanese say that?
His Japanese neighbor says it. Not all of the Japanese.
it's called something in
The
Japan.
Japanese neighbor.
But
Japanese neighbor.
it wouldn't hit until later. So I like wouldn't realize how full I was till like a couple minutes after I ate.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be dead.
Oh.
And it would just sit there. You could feel it in your stomach, just fucking it was like having a crock pot down there, just slow cooking. Set it and forget it. Bad news is coming. My girl fucking hated it.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, imagine having a sleep with that, dude. That's crazy.
I'd get real defensive and better on my CPAP. I'm like, what do you want me to do?
This is my weight loss journey.
Went up to a machine keeping you alive.
Fighting with a mask
It's not
on.
my fault.
I don't want
Taking it off. Like,
Dude, shout out to everybody with the CPAP
Like a
machine.
reptile.
dude, if I burped into my CPAP.
You fucking. That's the funniest
Oh,
shit ever.
did you burp into the machine at all?
Oh, dude, that would wake me up in the middle of the night and be like, what the fuck?
Fucking hotboxing himself.
Oh. Be like punching out of an F-16, just like,
Under the covers must have been nuts. Under the covers must have been
trap the
crazy.
flavor.
Just 7 passengers of a cruise died.
I remember one night she got up in the middle of the night and was like, I woke up and she was standing at the end of the bed. What are you doing? I'm getting healthy.
I'm doing this for you.
Oh,
Poor
man.
lady.
I really wish I could have been a part of one of these burps. I know I don't, but
It smelled like it's
Rotten
like
eggs.
I think about
Sewage.
the Ozempic burps and going to a medicine ball all the time. I think about this every day. Fully eating Ozempic burps on a plane. I'd be so mad if I was on the plane.
Because sometimes when the noise of the plane and the air moving around, you can get away with murder up
You
there.
really can.
You really can. You let one, you build it up.
you got your own fan for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
You can fucking
Hit the aisle. You can hit the aisle.
directional.
Dead
Yeah.
giveaways when you're moving the fan around. But yeah, you do that one little test to see if it smells and if it's all right. Plus, you got the seat, all that stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Could be
But
anyone.
man, sometimes you're just like, fuck.
Yeah. Wives, I will say my wife punishes me when I fart on a plane. She goes, "Yeah, was that you?" And if I had fart, I'll laugh. I can't not
Yeah, it's hilarious.
laugh hysterically if I did fart and someone smells it. So I'll be like, "Dude, shut the fuck up. Dude, shut the fuck
Yeah, it's like, well, you're blowing up my spot.
up. Why would you do this?"
I feel like it doesn't get that far though.
Dum 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 dum.
experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night.
All day.
Those black rifle coffees. Are we up? All right. Those are a lot.
Is this too much?
They're delicious.
Am I making a rookie mistake?
No, I love them. They're too good though. There's a lot of sugar in them. They're trying to make one with no sugar. They're pretty close. But right now that's got a ton of sugar in it. But damn, it's good.
Yeah, they taste good.
We did the full thing today, dude.
Thanks for the workout.
My pleasure. It was
Thanks
fun.
for the work. You're a beast. For anyone that doesn't know, you are a fucking beast. And I suspected you would be. You know, that's why I wanted to work out. And I was smart enough, and I told you right away, I'm not going to keep up with you. But man, you go hard.
You did a lot of the things though. You did all the stuff, you know, like and stuff that you'd never done before, like windmills and
yeah, those windmills were like you could really get in trouble with the windmill.
Yeah,
for people that don't know what that is.
You certainly can with heavy weight. Yeah, it's something, but it's all those things like the push-ups and bodyweight squats. It's all just you have to build to it.
I love the way you warm up, you know, because I'm the same way. I do a long warm.
The next time you fly, upgrade your comfort to Emirates Premium Economy. Sink into soft leather seats with raised leg rests and adjustable headrests. Elevate your dinner plans with delicious regional dining, all served with complimentary premium drinks. Enjoy endless entertainment with up to 6,500 channels, including live sports. There's no other premium economy like it. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Este episodio es presentado por Honda. Descubra la nueva Honda Passport Trail Sport Todoterreno, la Passport más todoterreno que Honda haya imaginado jamás. Esta Passport cuenta con mayor altura al suelo, barras de techo en todas sus versiones y neumáticas especialmente diseñados para cualquier terreno. Además, disfruta todos tus viajes con el control de clima de 3 zonas, techo panorámico y opciones como asientos delanteros con calefacción y ventilación. Conoce más en honda.com/passport.
Welcome to the Forbidden History Podcast. This program is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It contains mature adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Did the high priests in the temple in Jerusalem hide their most sacred items before the city was sacked by the Romans? Is one of the Dead Sea Scrolls actually a treasure map detailing these hidden wonders? And are there more great discoveries to be made under this ancient city?
We don't know much about Solomon himself, but we know a lot more about the treasure.
The main thing in the first temple of Jerusalem, this is the one going right back to King Solomon's time, was the Ark of the Covenant.
If you know that the Babylonians are hammering at the gates of the city, they want to come in and they want to pillage and destroy, but you're going to hide it away somewhere.
I think there could well be 2, 3, 4 more stashes of treasure down there in those caves under the Dome of the Rock.
The Temple of Solomon was one of the great structures of the ancient world. It's thought to have been built around 800 BC in the reign of King Solomon, a time of great wealth, prosperity, and power for the tribes of Israel. It's said that the temple contains some of the greatest treasures ever known, including the giant candelabra, the menorah, the table of showbread, and even the Ark of the Covenant itself.
The Ark of the Covenant was well worth having, according to the Old Testament, because it had this mysterious power. It was actually a weapon of mass destruction. It actually could knock out whole armies, according to the Old Testament. So it had this legendary power So it was worth having. You know, it was worth having for King Solomon and anybody else who could lay their hands on it. It would have been sought after.
Treasure of Solomon was a treasure of a king who embodied the most incredible relics in history. You're talking the Ark of the Covenant, the menorah, other relics from antiquity, and chalices that may have very well ended up as having been the Holy Grail.
These were just some of the famous pieces. There were also thousands of smaller sacred objects, jewels, and case upon case of gold coins. So what happened to these treasures? We know that the city was attacked and looted several times, most brutally in 70 AD, when the Roman general Titus pretty much leveled Jerusalem to the ground. But what happened to the treasures? In this episode, journalist Jamie Theakston investigates one of the greatest biblical mysteries of all time.
If we can imagine the scene and try to imagine the feelings in the hearts and minds of the priests, the Romans are at the door, and they are in a particularly bloody-minded mood, having had all the problems they've had in this province. So what are the priests going to do? I can almost picture them as we talk about them. And normally figures of great dignity and solemnity, they are now picking up the ornaments from the temple, the treasures that they would normally bow to and venerate. These are now being scooped up like a scrap metal merchant gathers his merchandise, and they are putting them in pockets, in holders on the side of the robes, and going down into that labyrinth. And we have to think of just how intricate the labyrinth is. It is a honeycomb of secret hiding places. And these, shall we say, not the most athletic of men, because you're normally of mature years before you become the high priest. And there they are, ferreting their way through these tunnels, looking for places in which the wealth can be stored, so that above all, the Romans won't find it.
Historians believed that the treasures were taken back to Rome. That was until the 1950s, when a new discovery changed everything. When the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered in the hills of Qumran, just a short journey from Jerusalem, they revealed a lot about the daily life in the temple at the time. One scroll in particular caught the academic's eye. It was a list of secret treasure deposits across the city where the high priests had hidden their most precious items in anticipation of the Roman invasion. And this threw an entirely new light on what might still be hidden under Jerusalem.
It will sort of say in such and such a valley, next to a building, there is a cistern, and if you walk a couple of paces in that direction, at that spot, there are sort of 12 talents of silver or something like that. And, you know, it's too vague. You can't really sort of find this treasure. So it means, in my opinion anyway, that it means that the people who wrote it knew exactly where these things were located.
So frustrating as a treasure map, but still evidence that the treasure was buried.
Well, in antiquity, if your city was under siege, then the first thing you think about is to protect your family and to hide away your wealth.
All that remains of the Second Temple of Solomon today is the outer wall. It's known all over the world as the most sacred prayer site for Jews, the Wailing Wall. Is the Ark of the Covenant and other treasures buried somewhere beneath or behind these stones? An increasing number of people think it's a real possibility.
Solomon was fabulously wealthy by the standards of his time, and we all know the various tales of Solomon's mines that brought back so much gold. Solomon was also supposed to have had access to jewels, to diamonds, and to all sorts of other precious stones. Now, if those stones were put carefully away in this secret hiding place under the temple at Jerusalem, under Solomon's palace at Jerusalem, there could well be 2, 3, 4 more stashes of treasure down there in those caves under the Dome of the Rock?
There's a few ideas about what may have happened to these treasures, because for one thing, they'd have known they were going to be invaded. They'd have known that they'd have an army on their borders heading towards them. So there is a possibility that they would have made duplicates or made copies and then hidden the real treasure so that these items would have stayed. And certainly the Ark of the Covenant seems to linger for quite a while in Jerusalem before it disappears from the Bible.
When the ancients wrote their treasure maps, they were really quite explicit. They would say, in the second door beneath the third step, we have put this much in silver. So it wasn't meant to be an exceptionally difficult treasure or spot to find it. They wanted someone to find it, but only somebody who knew about it. So what we find today is that people are just stumbling across this stuff in their daily lives, in their garden, in the extra wing they're adding to their house. They're finding relics that have been there for 2,000 years.
The possibility that some of the greatest treasures of antiquity are still buried under the old city has attracted archaeologists and adventurers for centuries. One of them, Shimon Gibson, has spent decades exploring the hidden tunnels, nooks, and crannies of Jerusalem in the pursuit of its ultimate prize.
You have two treasures, really. You have the Solomonic treasure, and you have the Roman period treasure, or let's say the treasure from the time of Jesus, yes, which is then taken away as spoils to Jerusalem. So the first treasure, we really don't know where it's located. I mean, it's a possibility. I would think it's quite logical that if you know that the Babylonians are hammering at the doors of the city, the gates of the city, they want to come in and they want to pillage and destroy, that you're going to hide it away somewhere. And that means that one has to think about subterranean spaces beneath Jerusalem. This is where you hid things. If you had an enormous amount of money, if you had some treasure, you would find some subterranean space and you would hide it there.
Shimon, you've written a book about this network of tunnels that exist beneath Temple Mount.
Yes, there's something like 45 subterranean spaces and channels and systems beneath the Temple Mount. Most of them are, or all of them actually, are inaccessible for Westerners ever since the beginning of the 20th century, when the last of the Westerns or the travelers and explorers went in. So really, there's a labyrinth, a kind of sort of warren of all of these tunnels and chambers and systems beneath the Temple Mount.
The truth is that much of the ancient treasure of Jerusalem has been dug up and sold by serious dealers in the city over the years. Everything from simple pottery cups to more elaborate items like jewelry, silver, coins, and even weapons. Much of what's sold in the markets is fake, but if you look carefully enough, and with a bit of luck, you can still find items that are possibly 2, maybe even 3,000 years old. But if you really want to see the best relics, then you need to visit one of the major antique dealers in Jerusalem. They're the people who the tomb raiders and relic hunters take their prized finds to first. Jamie was tipped off that Khader Beydun was one of the best dealers in town.
That's amazing. So I'm after some treasures from Solomon's time. Do you have something like that? So how old is this?
Solomon time.
Yeah?
King Solomon.
So this is what, 2,500 years?
2,700 years.
Wow.
And then I have a helmet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is from a similar, same era?
Same period.
Okay. So who would have worn one of these?
This is for ceremony they use it, but not for fight.
So what is this? What is this made of?
Bronze.
This is
made
bronze.
of bronze, yeah.
Okay, and the sword as well?
The eye here, glass. See the eye?
Yeah.
Glass.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And the sword here, that would have been used.
Also bronze.
This is bronze.
That's for fighting.
Right. Okay. And how much does this cost? How much would this cost me?
This will cost 7,500.
7,500 shekels.
Dollars.
Dollars?
Yeah.
Really? Is that your best price?
My best.
Really? You can do better than that.
Something sweet you deal as a gift.
Right. Oh,
I
okay.
can give you a coin.
Okay, that's amazing.
This is the second temple coin, the silver shekel.
Wow. And is this worth a lot of money?
It's worth a lot of money, yes, because it's silver.
Okay.
There's such an amount of treasure that has been hidden in places that are probably common. That's the best place to hide something. And people are finding this and they give it to authorities. They won't get any money. So they want to sell it. It's very much a black market, but it exists and you don't have to look very hard to find it.
So you don't bring just anyone in here. This is your
This is for serious collector when they are collecting these items for many years. Yeah.
And these have all come up from down in the ground.
Excavation, underground.
From excavation.
Yeah, tombs and
Right.
Treasures are extremely expensive. And I don't think you can walk into an antiquities shop in Jerusalem and say, show me your treasures, I'm willing to buy. You know?
But we can try.
You can try.
Give it a go.
Are you going to try? No?
We might find a menorah in a back room somewhere.
You can always try. By law, Israeli law, you can sell antiquities. And you have shops which cater to those who would like to buy objects and antiquities, lamps and bowls and all sorts of sculptures and so forth. You also have another Israeli law which forbids illegal excavation. So one law is in opposition to the other. So there's a bit of a problem there. As a result of that, you get this loophole and things are illegally excavated, including treasures. Some of them are mundane objects. The mundane objects turn up in the shops, which are in the old city of Jerusalem and elsewhere. And tourists passing by can pick up an object and they get a certificate and they can take it back to the country of origin. But the treasures usually are hidden away. They're not accessible, and they're then smuggled out of the country. And then they turn up in different collections all over the world.
Recently, a colleague of mine, Doron Ben-Ami, he found a hoard of 240 gold coins of Heraclius, the last Byzantine emperor who ever ruled Jerusalem. So here and there might be luck, but these are just hints to the wealth that Jerusalem once had.
Jamie's search for the lost treasures of King Solomon takes him underneath Jerusalem into the ancient caves of Zedekiah and the hidden passages that led to the old temple. Coming up when Forbidden History returns.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate pina colada and Thai iced coffee flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Journalist Jamie Theakston is investigating the mystery of the great treasures of King Solomon, which disappeared from Jerusalem over 2,000 years ago. It's possible that at the time, they were hidden away under the old temple by the high priests for their safety, and that they have remained there ever since, waiting to be discovered. He's already talked to the relic dealers in the city's markets, but now it's time to head underground into the remains of ancient Jerusalem. Local archaeologist Shimon Gibson had arranged for Jamie to visit one of the few tunnel sites under the old city that is still accessible and leads towards the Second Temple of Solomon. It's known as Zedekiah's Cave.
So, Shimon, are there people still digging in the caves today?
Well, the cave of Zedekiah was explored back in the 19th century and early 20th centuries. And then it was sort of a bit quiet until very recently. a group relating to Ron Wyatt has been doing excavations there.
Was he the guy who tried to find the Ark?
Exactly, yes. Back in the early 1970s, he was crawling through a tunnel which was very close to the Cave of Zedekiah, and he claimed that he found the Ark of the Covenant and various other temple treasures, took photographs. Unfortunately, the photographs he took were blurred, and the other unfortunate side of it all is that we really don't know the exact location where he was. And the Cave of Zedekiah is one of these ideal locations because it's an enormous subterranean space. It extends onto a substantial part of the ancient city, and it's so large that you can even get lost inside. I've got lost inside on a number of occasions, but luckily I've got a map, and one can sort of find your way out of it at different points.
It's reported that Herod the Great used stone from Zedekiah's cave to build the Second Temple of Solomon, including its outer walls, and there are rumors that over the years, tomb raiders and relic smugglers have used secret passages leading off from this cave to gain access to the remains of the temple itself.
Let's go and explore.
As Jamie and Shimon ventured further into the silent labyrinth of caves and chambers, it was easy to forget that the bustling city of Jerusalem was literally just above their heads.
You get these deep pits here, which are full of rubble. But if we were to extract this rubble, this would lead down to lower chambers. So you have at least 2 or perhaps 3 layers of rooms and caverns at different levels, extending down deep into the ground. Jamie, I want to show you something really quite nice. You've got all the graffiti here. 1869, 1874. And here you can see the symbol of the Freemason. He was a Freemason, clearly, this Richardson who made this graffiti. But you have names here of many different people who visited the cave, including key figures in the history of Jerusalem. American consuls and all sorts of people came in and left their marks on the wall. Zedekiah's cave used to be known as Solomon's Quarries. It's an enormous cave which extends under the old city of Jerusalem, and it goes on for hundreds of meters beneath the city. And it's at that location that there's a possibility that treasure might one day be found should one start excavating all the fills inside. It is a bit of a mission impossible because there's so much stone debris inside that it would probably take you about 1,000 years to dig it all out. And so, as an archaeologist, I don't have that enough time to do so. But that is a potential place for hiding away treasure.
Are there people still digging for treasure under Temple Mount?
Archaeologists are always digging in Jerusalem. They're really interested in sort of unraveling the history of the city. But you get these external groups. These are people from different parts of the world who have this yearning, this passion for finding relics of the past, including the Ark of the Covenant. And frequently I get these telephone calls from people who are saying, I know where the Ark of the Covenant is. Can we meet and I'll show you? I'm always willing to hear about these sort of possibilities. And because Jerusalem has this warren of underground caverns and chambers and tunnels, there is a possibility that somewhere, someplace, some sort of treasure will be found.
Jamie and Shimon carried on deeper into the subterranean world until they finally reached the end of the tunnel that had been deliberately blocked up, possibly by tomb raiders who were covering their tracks. This was as far as they could go. Archaeologically, Jerusalem is like a layer cake of history. The deeper you go, the older it gets. And the Roman streets are still there, buried 100 feet or so under the medieval city we see today. Dr. Kate Raphael is an archaeologist who has spent years working around the Temple Mount area and knows the underground labyrinth as well as anyone. She believes that King Solomon built a vault beneath the temple to store his treasures in the event of an attack.
What was Solomon's vault?
if my palm is the Holy of Holies, the actual bedrock where Isaac and the sacrifice took place, that was the Holy of Holies, and within the temple itself. Now, according to the source that comes much, much later, when King Solomon built the temple, he built a chamber beneath the Holy of Holies. So this is the rock, the bedrock, and he carved a room underneath so that if the temple was threatened or there was an emergency and you had to take the treasures and the ark to stash them in a safe place, you could take them directly down below the Holy of Holies. There was this room where you could put them there, and hopefully nobody would ever find them until everything had calmed down. The source, the way it had come to us, says that King Solomon had already seen into the future, and he knew that his temple was not going to last forever. And he built this vault underneath with the idea that there would be the house of God, the temple, would be threatened.
The outer Wailing Wall is all that remains of the Second Temple from the time of Jesus. But what most people don't know is that the wall continues underground.
So the Wailing Wall extends into the tunnels.
Right. The Wailing Wall is only about an eighth of the entire stretch of that western wall that was built by King Herod. So the actual site of prayer that is open to the public today is a tiny fragment. And once we enter the tunnel, we can see all the rest of it. And you can see the structure, the size, the effort, and the funds that were poured into the building of this wall. And this is only a support wall. It's not the temple itself. It's something that supports the entire platform from all the sides of it.
Kate agreed to take Jamie down into the tunnels beneath the Wailing Wall, to a spot which is about as close as you're able to get today to the Holy of Holies of the original Temple of Solomon, which housed the Ark of the Covenant and other sacred treasures.
Okay, so we're really not the first to try and solve the mystery of what happened to the treasures of the temple. And maybe this is the best place to actually tell the tale. One of the first Western explorers to actually try and solve the enigma was Warren from the Palestinian Exploration Fund. He was here in the last part of the 19th century, and he did not have the funds or the ability to dig the entire tunnels. I'm sure he would have liked to, but he couldn't. And what he decided to do is to make 2 shafts and pray that those shafts are going to hit what he was searching for, or at least help him solve part of the story and put some of the pieces of the puzzle in their place. And that if the information about the subterranean vault that was built by King Solomon, if there is any grain of truth in it, so he may be as close as possible, and up until then possibly the only Westerner who has come that close to where the treasures of the Temple Mount were hidden.
Many Jews believe that the Ark of the Covenant and the other sacred treasures are still buried in a secure chamber somewhere beneath Temple Mount. This was evidenced in 1982 when a group of ultra-Orthodox rabbis, led by Rabbi Yehuda Getz, actually tried to break through Warren's Gate to reach the Holy of Holies and what they hoped would be the last resting place of the treasures of Solomon. But alerted by their drilling, the Muslim authorities in the Al-Aqsa Mosque above reacted quickly, and the rabbis were stopped before they were able to reach any treasure and start a major conflict.
How close did Rabbi get to the?
I think he was. If the chamber was actually there, he was within a few meters of it. He came 4 meters from where he thought the chamber was, and 4 meters below what was the Holy of Holy in King Solomon's temple.
So he came that close.
He came
4 meters away.
that close.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast here to tell you about Michelob Ultra Courtside. It's getting fans closer to the NBA with a chance to win prizes like courtside seats, a trip to All-Star Weekend, and much more. Check it out at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access, Courtside 24-25 sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 and up. Begins on October 1st, 2024 and July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
This episode is brought to you by Peacock. The new Peacock original documentary, Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, dives deep into the beloved actor's rise to fame and his tragic death. 5 people, including Perry's personal assistant, 2 medical doctors, and an alleged Hollywood drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, were charged with conspiracy to illegally provide Perry with the ketamine. Explore the details of the case in this heartbreaking special, streaming now only on Peacock.
He was on that TV show that everybody likes but me.
Jerusalem is a fascinating place for archaeologists because new discoveries are made nearly every week. Shimon Gibson called Jamie to show him an ancient water pool and sluice tunnel in the gardens of a medieval church in the Old City. Shimon believes that it was hidden passages like these that the priests could have used to move and hide treasures before the Romans attacked. Like many of the ancient sites in the city not open to tourists, access can be a little difficult. In this case, it was a climb down a steep
his little ladylike
into the remains
friend
of
is
the
going to the
first century
penitentiary.
Podesta water pool.
You're fucking dumb, dude.
Okay, so this is the Podesta pool. The original steps,
Thanks for all you
which
do.
date back 2,000
But I
years.
told you, she wanted to go to the
You have
penitentiary.
flights of
Like that
steps
letter.
and landings in between. That's very typical. So as those who came into the pool could bathe here.
And one of the Gospels talks about Jesus healing.
Exactly.
Invalid in a-
Yes.
in a-
This is the Gospel of John, chapter 5, where there's the story of Jesus who comes into the pool and helps this invalid and cures this invalid. And there's also a reference to the murmuring on the waters. And, you know, this is unclear. Some thought maybe it was something which is added a little later into the original text. But Eusebius also talks about something very similar. He talks about the bubbling of the water.
And there's a tunnel down here, is there?
There was a kind of sort of sluice system, which meant that when they wanted water from the northern pool, they would lift up the sluice gate, and then the water would come rushing into this pool. And then for those who wanted to bathe here, this is for purification purposes, so they could enter into the temple, would do so. But I can see it's all sort of now sort of underwater. And at the bottom here, you see there's a kind of stone there underwater. That's the top of a tunnel which extends under our feet all the way in that direction to the temple. And that's for the surplus water. So if they have too much water, they could easily drain it away. But it's underwater. So
Although Shimon had high hopes that the water channel might have provided a concealed route to the underground remains of the temple, recent rain in the city had totally flooded the entrance, and there was just no safe way for them to go in at that time. But a few days later, after most of the water subsided, Shimon was able to get down the narrow passage, but unfortunately, like so many tunnels under Jerusalem, it had collapsed well short of Temple Mount and was a dead end. When you look at the old city and the Dome of the Rock today, digging under it seems such a straightforward and enticing prospect. The reality, though, is far from that.
Do you think that there is still treasure there today?
I think there is still treasure in the world that belonged to the first temple. I think that it survived. I doubt it would have been melted down. I think some of it still may be in Jerusalem. It's very hard to excavate Jerusalem. It's very hard to get permission to do any kind of historical archaeology there.
Archaeological excavations in Jerusalem by Israelis are frowned upon simply because it is an occupied city for much of the world. As a result of all of that, international organizations, institutions that deal with archaeology are not digging here, which is a great pity.
Do you think there's still treasure buried under Jerusalem today?
I most certainly do. I think that when somebody with the wisdom of Solomon in the tradition placed a store of wealth and of objects of great power and importance in those underground caves, way down below the dome of the rock, then you hide your treasure in more than one place. And I think there could well be 2, 3, 4 more stashes of treasure down there in those caves under the dome of the rock.
The idea that there are treasures, relics, and even important documents still buried deep under Jerusalem, waiting to be discovered, has captivated those who have visited this ancient citadel for over 2 millennia. In the current political climate, it's hard to see any major excavations taking place. So we can only hope that one day in the future, this holy city will finally release its long-held secrets.
Sue had just sat down to dinner when her phone began ringing off the hook. She had an idea of who it might be, so she hurried over to answer.
She recognized the warm but upset voice on the other end. It asked, "When can I get out of here? Please get me out of here."
These calls had become something of a ritual. As always, Sue could do little but assure the caller that she was working as fast as she could, that she hadn't forgotten, but these things take time.
The woman on the other end was Sue's client, Lois Curtis, who'd been living at a mental health facility in Georgia since she was just a child. She was desperate to escape the dreary, underfunded hospital she'd come to call home.
Lois knew that Sue was working hard on her case. She also understood that over the past 2 years, the whole affair had snowballed to something much larger than herself. Soon, they'd be taking her case before the Supreme Court of the United States.
What had started as a small lawsuit in Atlanta now had the potential to become a national piece of legislation. Sue had to win their case, not just for Lois, but for the millions of Americans living with disabilities who deserved better.
Just a long, cool Jew in a bathrobe.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Richardson.
I'm Carter Roy.
And this is Season 3 of Famous Fates. In this season, called Movers and Shakers, we're looking at the odds defiers, the rebels, the people who knew they were right and everyone else was wrong, and were willing to push themselves to the brink to see the change the world deserved.
We've got an incredible lineup for this season, and we're thrilled to tell these stories about some truly inspirational people. As we dive into their stories, we want to think about how they made an impact on the world and how we can follow their example.
One way to do that is by staying engaged at the community level. Earlier this fall, we focused on the national election, but down-ballot races have a far greater impact on your daily life, as these are the local representatives that shape your community.
Another way to stay politically active is through volunteerism. Chances are there is an activity in your city that could use your help.
Today, we're covering Lois Curtis. In 1999, she found herself at the center of the landmark Olmstead decision. This legislation upheld the rights of people with mental disabilities to live with independence and dignity.
We'll delve into her life right after this.
Many people have heard of Lois Curtis, though few know her story. From an early age, her quality of life was limited by the national attitude toward people with disabilities.
And to understand that, we'll need a quick history lesson.
By the mid-1950s, an estimated 500,000 Americans were committed to mental institutions, oftentimes for life. These facilities were essentially asylums, complete with all the pseudoscience treatments that are now the stuff of horror movies.
I told you guys about that. So people with Down syndrome, they usually, like, the longest they usually live is like 50s. Okay. Then add to that, Down syndrome, it usually presents itself with like a larger tongue than their mouth size. You know, I mean, you know, when you look at somebody that has Down syndrome, even when they're adorable, you can tell that they have Down syndrome. Anyway, my favorite clients that I ever had were some of the first clients that I worked with, and they were two women. One had Down syndrome, one was extremely developmentally disabled. She did not look like she had Down syndrome, but she was like gray-haired, curly gray hair, and literally was like a 3 or 4 year old girl. She was adorable. Like, that sounds obnoxious. Like, imagine a toddler, but a grown woman. Same verbal skills as well. And it sounds like she would be obnoxious because you're like, well, that is stupid. You mean throwing yourself on the ground and like flailing about and then smiling and being all giddy over an ice cream cone? Yes. Yes. And then the lady with Down syndrome, she was nonverbal. Anyway, both of them grew up. The reason why neither of them were verbal, but the other one, whose name I can't say for confidentiality reasons, she could say no or like happy. You know, she could say like one word here or there, but like less than 100 words. She couldn't string together a sentence. And then the other one, totally nonverbal, no words at all. Anyway, both of them were born, and one of them, I believe she was 2 before her parents gave her up. The other one, as soon as she was born, back when they were born in the 50s or late 40s, it was either late 40s or early 50s for both of their birth dates. Their mothers were told, you cannot keep these babies. They have to go to a mental asylum. And the reason why both of them were nonverbal is because they grew up in a mental asylum with adults who were schizophrenic. And no one, not even the nurses, took the time to read to them or play with them. They were just literally like 3 or 4 little baby toddlers wandering around a mental institution full of grown adults that are oftentimes violent. And nurses that are like way over the client ratio that you would think would be acceptable. Anyway, that was the status quo. That was the standard. That was the standard for that era. And it went on, you'd think it would have ended like, oh, well, probably ended right around then. No. It went on all the way until the late 70s. All the way until the late 70s, people were frequently like told, give your kids over to the mental institution. Anyway, back to this podcast. But isn't that so sad? They were
Throughout the
nonverbal
late
because no
50s
grown-ups
and
tried to
early
teach them.
60s, things improved incrementally for those patients. The passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 became a kind of guideline for how Americans with disabilities would seek equality. Into the 1970s, the growing popularity of other social movements paved the way for Americans with disabilities to advocate.
Oh, and I want to add this too. This is something that I noticed not just with them. I noticed this with every adult that I worked with that was not mentally ill but had Down syndrome and was